It's wonderful to thank the Rebbeinu Shloim and to say Lahagid Baboike Chazdecha Ve'Menoscha B'Leilos. Our gratitude to the Rebbeinu Shloim is overflowing because we thank him for the past and of course we mevakesh rachmim for the future. The gratitude is not just for the chasodim v'akadosh baruch Hu. It's also for all the individuals who helped Sem in the past and continue to do so in the present. And the gratitude is to every one of you, to every single one of the Talmidos, past Talmidos who are here. As I've said many times, once a Sem girl, always a Sem girl. Past Talmidos, coming here today, this Rosh Chodesh Sivan, to give support to our campaign, which is next week, there's Hashem, Monday and Tuesday. And of course, the bakosha, the request is that everybody should take a page, and all of you could do what you can to help Sem reach out to friends, to family, to help. Not everyone's a millionaire. Not everyone's got too much money and not enough places to send it to. But every £10, every £20, £50, £100 or more, it's all wonderful, it adds up. But the schus is so much more than you can imagine. The schus is incredible. You don't realize that literally the life-saving event, the life-changing event for so many people is going to Sem. And we can't manage without you. The challenges of inflation, of massive increases in food prices and energy, meant that we need to turn to you, the alumni of SEM, to do what you can to provide support. Let's look back at the past. This is meant to be reflections, and look at the future. SEM started here 35 years ago. Shnas Tovshin Mem Ches, 1988 in Elul. I said Tovshin Mem Ches is Oz Tismach. Oz Tismach Besula B'mochel, so it's suitable for girls. Tismach, be happy. In Elul Zman, we started in Vine Street Shul Hall. The front of the Shul Hall was the classroom. The back of the Shul Hall was the dining room. And the corner of the Shul Hall was the SEM kitchen. It was all one room. And the girls slept in various flats, in Moore Lane and in Neville Court, a few different flats. That was completely unsuccessful, impossible. And after Sukkot, Chaz Hashem, we moved into our own building, 460 Berry New Road. It had unbelievable Hashgacha Protis, which is now, it's now the Babbage. Next day it's Chaim. That was the SEM building. And we squashed in there. It's unbelievably tight. You can't even imagine what the classroom looked like. It makes the classroom here, even with 120 girls in it, look very spacious. It was incredibly tight. the little small room there at the front had somehow crammed in 48 girls, which was really, really uncomfortable. We had Ashkoch on the floor that I remember this as far as the budget was concerned. The profit of selling the building at 460 when we left after a year was exactly £70,000. It was bought, I think, if I remember, it was bought for 300,000 and it was sold for 370,000. And £70,000 difference, and that was the deficit for that year. Because amazingly, the budget that year was 120,000, and the income from all the fees came to 50,000, and there was £70,000 gap. That was paid for by the Ashkoch Reunion. In Elul, which was less than even a year, we already moved to 474 Berenice Road. It was unbelievable hashkoch in the floor. It was sold by sealed auction. That means you're not going to an auction where you know what other people are bidding. You're just putting a bid into an envelope and hope maybe you get the top price. And Baruch Hashem, even though loads of people wanted to buy it, it used to be a children's home owned by the City of Salford. We got it in the 474. We began with 48 girls. 4 of them came from Manchester. The others from London and France and USA and Eretz Yisrael and Holland and Antwerp. That was the first year. And from my perspective, it was all just one phone call. I was at home, I was in London, I was Rabbi Shul in Ilford. I got a phone call from Rabbi Young, or Moshe Young, who was then the principal of Jewish High. He called me up and he said, would you be willing to come to Manchester for a meeting? Meeting? Okay, I don't mind coming for a meeting. What harm is there in going for a meeting? Come for a meeting. So I came to Manchester for a meeting. What's the meeting all about? Oh, they're planning, they want to open a new SEM. They're looking for a principal. I was a Rov, I was young, no experience with girls, no experience in teaching, and certainly no experience as a principal. Eventually that changed. So that's history. Well, it's history. It's the past. That was history. We look today at where we are and the world's problems. Many people will say, what are you going to do about the world? The campaign's entitled Futures. What is the future? We're not living in an ordinary time. We're living in a time which the Novi has spoken about. It says in the Novi, in advance of our time, our generation, Hine Yomim Boim Nu Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu told the Novi, there are days which are going to be in the world, V'hishlachti rov ba'aretz. I'm going to make a famine in the world. There'll be a famine. Lo rov lalechem, it won't be a famine for bread. It won't be a thirst for water. It's going to be a tremendous rov, a rov to hear the words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The daughters of Klal Yisrael want to know, how today should we address this thirst? How is this thirst going to be addressed? How can we see the thirst in the world? Where do we see it? And what is needed to quench that thirst? I think the thirst is evident. The world is filled with advancement, with tremendous prosperity, like never before, with technology, with AI, with medical progress, with opportunities to live a pampered, comfortable existence like no one ever had before. And yet the world is filled with sadness, with misery, with loneliness, with pain, with anger, with jealousy, with friction, with politics, and widespread discontent. All that comes, and of course there's a consequence of this as well. The consequence of this is, and everyone is aware of this, a tremendous amount of physical pain, an illness, lately, which everyone knows is linked to the tremendous emotional struggles that the world is going through. When I say the world, I don't mean the world, I mean the people of the world. This pain is caused by one thing: distance from Hashem. You can be a frum person, you can keep Kol HaTorah Kula and have no shaykhs whatsoever with the Rebbeinu Shalom. No shaykhs, very frum in every single way. HaKadosh Baruch Hu isn't in your life, kiyuzeh. You're just frum. You just do it all. You do everything you're supposed to do, all the mitzvahs, everything. Every single thing Hashem says you have to, you do. Shulchan Aruch, you're keeping Shulchan Aruch. But Yiddishkeit, you haven't got kiyuzeh. Not one mashu of Yiddishkeit, because there's no ikka. Bo Chabakuk v'midna lachas v'tzadik b'emunosa yichya. Chabakuk Hanovi took the whole of the Torah, 613 mitzvahs, and he said it's one thing, v'tzadik b'emunosa yichya. It's your emunah, it's your kesher with Hashem. So the Novi who said there'll be a time of the rov, lishmoyas dvar Hashem, it is evident today. The pain caused by distance from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The pain comes from the desire to come close. So there is one eitzah, and I think one should give a drosha with one thought, with one eitzah, not with 25 ideas, with one eitzah. There's one eitzah. Be real. That's the whole eitzah. Be real. Politics is a raya, I'm not a mamin. Jealousy is a raya, I'm not a mamin. Sadness is a raya, I'm not a mamin. Anger is a raya, I'm not a mamin. It's only toil on one thing, the kesher with Hashem. Be real. Rav Dessler once said, Dvorim hayotzim halev nechnosim halev does not mean that people listen to you because you're sincere. It doesn't mean that. Dvorim hayotzim halev nechnosim halev means something else entirely. It means Dvorim hayotzim halev, something which comes out of your heart because your heart can't contain it. There's no room inside the heart to contain the passion. It's bursting out. That's nechnosim halev. So when we say today we live in a wonderful world, it's true. It's wonderful in Gashmis, it's wonderful in Ruchnis. It's better than ever before. There's more Torah learning than ever. There's more Dikduk Balocha than ever. There's more yeshivas than ever. There's more kolim than ever. There's more yediyah than ever. There's more chesed than ever. There's more tzedakah than ever. It's never been like our time. It's unbelievable. The gemachim, it's unbelievable. We live in the best time in terms of how much Torah there is, how much learning there is, how much avodah there is. Everybody's trying to do, and they're doing more on another program. And Gashmis, for sure, it's much better than ever before. The way we live is much more than the kings and queens lived 200 years ago, or even 100 years ago. Much better, all of us. An ordinary person who hasn't got any money is living much better than the king lived 200 years ago. You press a button, you listen to music. Press another button, you can talk to anyone anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world, just by pressing a few buttons. What would the king have to do in order to be able to speak to somebody from London? He has to send his carriage to London. To get the carriage to come and schlep the guy back from London. In 2 days' time, 3 years' time, you might be able to speak to him. You can speak to him, just press a button, you speak to him. It doesn't even cost you anything. Gashmis is phenomenal. Ruchnis is phenomenal. But Rav Dessler says it's Romi Yotzim Alev Nechosim Alev. It's not enough to talk Yiddishkeit. It's not enough to be satisfied with Dikduk B'Halocha and keeping all the mitzvahs. In Shema we say, V'ahavta es Hashem lekecha, B'chol levavcha, V'chol nafshecha, V'chol meidecha. Our kids see through it all. They see if we say Shema or we do Shema. Do we just say Shema or do we do Shema? V'ahavta es Hashem lekecha, B'chol levavcha, B'chol nafshecha, B'chol moedecha. That means that nothing else is more important. that nothing else matters to me as much as doing the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what people are thirsty for today. And that's what Sem provides. Girls turn over in Sem. They become different people in Sem. Mamish different people. Children know what's for show and what's for real. We stood together, all of us, at Har Sinai. We said Nasa Mushma. We said it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We didn't say it to other people. We didn't say it to Moshe. We didn't say it to Aaron. We said it to Hashem. And what are we saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Beichen Levechoyke Kloyos. He mamish penetrates, goes right inside to see who you really are. And he hears Klal Yisrael saying Na'aseh Nishma. He heard us saying it. And we were really making the declaration, Ritzoineinu Liris Malkeinu. We want to be close. And every Shavuos, every single Shavuos, we have a chance to reach something of that beautiful closeness. How? By being real. Sem is not a school. Sem's not a sixth form college. Sem's not a finishing school. It's not a place where you tick the box, I went to BSS. No. It's the place where a girl has a chance to BSS, to build herself into someone special, to BSS. So when you help by taking a page, when you help Sem financially or by introducing the idea to somebody else who will give a bit of support, or a lot of support, you're not supporting Hatzalah. Hatzalah saves lives, saves somebody's physical life. The Gemara says, God la machtir yosim al-hargoi. If somebody causes another person to do a chet, it's a more serious crime than if he killed him. Why? Because if he killed him, he still has olam haba. If he made him do a chet, he has no olam hazeh and no olam haba. Sem is literally an investment in eternity. It's an investment in eternity, an investment forever, because of the radical change it can make in a person. The support you're giving is to an amazing, fabulous staff, better than we've ever had, to whom I'm extremely, extremely grateful. The SEM does everything that we can to show values of Torah, to show Avas Torah, to show kindness, to show love, to show caring, to show concern for every girl. To give each person who comes here a chance to develop their relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom, or to become aware that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares about you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares about me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares about every single person. And there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes in a person's circumstances. There are no mistakes in a person's difficulties. There are no mistakes in a person's challenges. Every single thing is tailor-made to be ideal for that neshama to achieve kirvas elikim. V'ani kirvas elikim li toiv, Dov HaMelech wrote in Tehillim. The kirvas elikim closest to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is toiv, is goodness. And that's what this is all about. That's what Sem is for. That's really what chinuch is for. That's really the job of every mother and every father. To try to implant this value of ani kirvas elikim li toiv. That there's nothing better. So I once heard B'Shem Melech Weinberg, and it's a very obvious point. He said, you know what Hashem really wants? He wants everybody to be happy, to enjoy themselves. Enjoying yourself is the most important thing. Why? Because it says at the beginning of Mesilas Yesharim, it says, the Rebbeinu Shalom only made us le'esaneg el Hashem, to have delight. And that's why it says in the Torah Kedosha itself, that all the curses, all the predicted punishments of Klal Yisrael, which are mentioned in the Toichacha, in Parshas Ki Savo, they're all tachas ha'shaloi v'adas Hashem lekecha b'simcha v'tup leivov. So having a happy place to learn, a happy place to live, making your home a happy home, isn't a good thing, isn't a nice thing. It's the essential medium of transmission. Without it, there's no shaykhs to giving over Yiddishkeit. You wonder, how could these frum, ehrlich, Torah parents not always have atzlocha? Rachmon litzlan, we see so many children who have left the path of Torah mitzvahs. In Shir Hashirim, we see the answer. Shlomo HaMelech wrote Shir Hashirim. And he wrote in Shir Hashirim, Ki azo kamoves avo, kosher k'shorikimo. And it's such a strange phrase, Ki azo kamoves avo, that love is strong like death. What sort of a comparison is made between love and death? Ki azo kamoves avo. What does this pasuk in Shir Hashirim mean? So I saw Ramach Grunwald Zichron Livrocha explained it as follows. At the time when someone has to leave the world, because no one lives forever, the time when a person leaves the world, the Malach HaMoves is sent to take that person's neshama back. No matter how much he tries to resist, when the time comes for him to die, he has to die. It's impossible to resist Moves. So Shlomo HaMelech says, Ki azo kamoves avo. It is completely impossible to resist avo. No one can resist love. No one can. So the medium is avo. Ki azo kamoves avo. It's not shaykh to resist avo. It's impossible. And therefore, everything that we can give to our children depends on the success of that nakuda. The transmission of avo. Maral says avo is gematria 13, the same as echad. Echad is 13. It's the one and the same thing. It's becoming one with your child. And that's what is necessary. It's the essential thing that every single person needs in his or her life. Everyone needs connection. Everyone needs closeness. And the Rebbeinu Shloim's ava towards us is also irresistible. And now in our time, when we're living this very special time, and I said in so many ways we're luckier than we've ever been. There's much more Torah today. And there's much more Gashmias today, and there's much more beauty today, and there's much more understanding today, there's much more caring today, there's much more chesed today. But there's this tzimoin, there's this thirst, there's this desperate wanting for something real. For the real Avas Hashem. The real Avas HaTorah. The real understanding of why do you want to marry a boy in learning? Is it just to copy what the world does? Or is it because you appreciate? If your house is a Torah house, your house is a house where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in every room, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is predominant, where everybody understands the joy of living as B'nai Torah, the joy of living as Avdei Hashem, then Avdus isn't a negative thing, it's only a positive thing. It's being real. That's what it's all about. And that's what SEM aims to do. In my 3-hour interview, I went through a 3-hour interview for my job. I interviewed girls who were applying for SEM for maybe 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour. But I had a 3-hour interview for my job, besides 2 long meetings with 10 people. And the 3-hour interview for my job was with Manshur Shiva Zechzag Livrocha. It was in Bournemouth, in a flat there where he was staying. It was 3 hours. What was the most important thing he gave over to me? He said, it should be a happy place. Why? because that's the only way to transmit Yiddishkeit. It's not enough that you're from. It's not enough that you're Erlich. It's not enough that you're sincere and you're medactic mitzvahs. It's got to be a happy place. Every single one of you has come here tonight. And you've done something wonderful. You made the Haschola to help us invest in the future. The SEM needs you. We're not doing this campaign for luxuries. It's for basics. It's to keep going. It's to pay the staff. It's to pay suppliers. This is mamash a need. But this is an investment in the future. Every single person who's come here tonight should feel extremely proud. Proud that you did something hard. Proud that you went out of your comfort zone. Proud that you made the effort to show you have a krosatov, you have understanding, you realize there's dvorim hayotzim halev nechnosim halev in this place. This is a place where Baruch Hashem, girls come and grow and develop. And by your hishtatfus, your support, it enables us to help raise the next generation so that simoin, that thirst, the Shmoyes Dvar Hashem, should be quenched. And through that, we come one step closer this week to Shavuos, to Matan Torah, one step closer to the real Hisgalus Kvod Shemayim, with BS Mashiach Tzidkeinu, Meher V'Yameinu Amen. Thank you so much for coming and helping us.